Hey, this is Field Pup here doing my first ever knife review. I'm going to be doing it on the Mora of Sweden knife. I've had a couple of people ask me about this, and I figured, it'd be nice to do a video about it and, tell them about, a little bit about the knife and the setup that I've got for it. So, first off, we'll start out with just the knife itself. It's just a carbon steel blade. I think the blade's about 4 inches long here. And it's just got, just a regular wood handle on it. I think it's got some red kind of paint on it. But feels real nice. It's a pretty lightweight knife. But the blade on this thing is, I've been nothing but impressed with this blade. It's kind of got a weird grind to it. It's the Scandinavian style. Here you can see I'll get close up, and I'm using a cold steel Delta dart here as my pointer. But this blade, when you sharpen it, you don't just sharpen down here, just keep it this angle. You're sharpening this whole blade from the bottom all the way up to here. This is your whole edge. I thought that was pretty neat. I don't see that a lot, and it was only with these Scandinavian style blades I've ever seen it. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and when I go to try it out, I mean, this thing, gouges, you can make nice deep gouges in a piece of wood when you're going to feather it, for like, starting a fire. Or, you can just, take real nice slivers off when you're going to make your tinder. And, I mean, it's got a whole different feel to it than any other knife when you're cutting with it. It just feels real nice, and it just cuts real smooth. I mean, you don't have to put a whole lot of effort into it. And it just, glides into whatever you're cutting. I've been pretty impressed with this, and I mean, I think I paid $10 for this knife, and you can usually get them from anywhere from like $10 to $15. And I was kind of didn't want to buy one for a while, just because I was like, oh, I'll just spend my money on other things other than waste on some cheap knife. But I've got some, SOG knives and Ontario knives by their companies, and they're great knives. But I mean, this, $10-15 knife, competes, almost neck and neck, or almost better than some of them, in some aspects. But I've been really impressed. I mean, this is a really high value knife. For, you're getting more than your money's worth when you buy one of these Mora knives. And they don't just come in, this is the classic style, and they come in, they've got more modern looking ones where the handle's, a plastic handle, with a rubberized grip on it. I mean, which would be nice to have, but I really like this style, just that, kind of vintage look, I guess. But they've got, if you're into more modern looking knives, it's still the same style blade and everything, and I'm sure it works just as well from the reviews I've heard on them. But just got, a different handle and a little bit different look to it, but it's still this, Scandinavian grind, which is, I'm really happy with this, and I think I'm gonna definitely, keep buying these Mora knives. And that's the thing too, is even if this knife eventually wears out, and yeah, it's probably eventually gonna wear out someday, but I've seen some pretty old ones that are, still working perfectly fine. But even if it wears out, it's a $10 knife. You go get another one, and it's good for how many years? So I definitely recommend this knife to any outdoorsman, or just anybody in general that doesn't have one in their collection, because it's a relatively cheap knife, and it's definitely a very good knife. I mean, constructed well, feels well. There's no wobble or anything, and it's also a full tang blade there. So I mean, it's not it's pretty sturdy there. I've been impressed with it. But I've even seen guys doing videos where they're batoning with these knives on YouTube, and I mean, they're holding up perfectly fine. I personally don't baton a lot, and I don't think I'd try it with this. But you can do it if you need to, and I'm sure, maybe if I get another one of these, I'll try it. But it's only a 4-inch blade, but they also make all kinds of different styles of the Mora, and you can get, I think, there's even like 6-inch blade ones, so you can get different sizes of them. But anyways, now we'll go back to the sheath on this thing. I mean, it keeps it nice and snug in there. It's not going to be flopping out or anything. So anyways, then I'll get up to the necklace kind of thing that I've woven here for it. so I can keep this around my neck. I've just got a 550 cord woven on there, and what I've stuck on the 550 cord is I have an emergency whistle here, and I've also got a fire sparker right here. So, and I just kind of wove those on, just braided them on, so that way I wouldn't have to, I didn't want to weave it into it, so I'd have to cut it off if I ever had to use them. But just wove it up here, then taped the ends up here to hold it in place with just Gorilla duct tape. So, and that's holding it pretty well. But yep, got that emergency whistle. Then I also decided, take some Gorilla tape, and I duct taped a small Bic lighter onto the sheath itself, just in case, say one of these gets lost, falls off, or in case the lighter gets broken, I've got these. So just something to back it up in case something does go wrong with one of them. But yeah, so I mean, I've just kind of pretty much just tied the essentials around my neck. You've got fire making and you've got your knife. I've also seen some of them where guys will put a small little LED flashlight or something on here, and yeah, I usually carry enough flashlights on me. I've always got one in my pocket anyways, and I don't want to add more weight. This doesn't weigh a whole lot right now, but if I add 5 different things around my neck, it's going to start weighing, and then it's going to start bugging me, and I'm not going to want to carry it as much. But I mean, it's real convenient having this knife around your neck. I've tried this on my belt and I don't like it, but it's a real nice, just neck knife. It's not some big, huge, heavy thing that's going to be, straining your neck by having it around it. But all in all, I mean, this is a great value knife. I recommend this to anybody. I always, anytime my buddies are asking me, what kind of knife to get, for a camping trip, this one, because it's cheap. If you happen to lose it or something, it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to replace it, or just give you that sick to your stomach feeling when you've lost a $150 knife out at some campgrounds. But anyways, this has been my first review. I'll probably have more of them. I might do some field testing with this knife just to kind of show it off a little bit. I think I'm going to try and sharpen it tomorrow, so I'm kind of interested to see how that goes, because I've never sharpened one of these Scandinavian style blades. So that should be definitely a learning experience, just trying to get this whole thing sharpened and making sure I get that. But might post a video about how well it's sharpened and some updates about it. But definitely try to get some out in the field use with it, just to put on here so everyone can see it. But you've really got to own one of these knives, because like I said, I can't really describe how different it feels when you cut it, cut a stick or cut stuff with it, but it's got a whole different feel, and it's pretty neat. I mean, it just glides right through whatever I want to cut it. So I would give this knife an 8 out of 10 at least, so if I were to rate it. So anyways, this is Field Pup out.